I think we've proved over the last couple of decades that we can handle more people because the total water usage, as was mentioned, really hasn't gone up. So the per capita usage has gone down, and per capita, the people have gone up. And so I think that's setting up a choice that you don't have to make. I think you can do both, and it should not be an excuse to raise the bridge and not let other people come into our communities. But it has to be managed because there is only so much water.
I often get asked, like, do you think population growth has a direct impact on demand? And it does not. The problem is demand hardening, which is, people, the more you fit within the same amount of water you have, the less, the capacity, sort of you reach some capacity, but there's so much potential for technology change, the way we use water to make it more efficient and effective and conserve more water. And there's plenty of water to save. I mean, even right now, if you look into your daily lives, from the moment you turn on your shower to warm up the water, that water goes down, right? To flushing down the clean water down your toilet. That water that's in your toilet is a drinkable water. You flush it down your toilet, right? You don't even touch it. You don't use it at all. So there's so many opportunities indoors to not use high quality water and conserve more water. So I think there's plenty of space we have to go before we get to that point.
I think the challenge in land use planning and any future development, part of that environmental impact report does make an evaluation of availability of water resources. That said, I think a far greater challenge is mobilizing the resources for needed low-income housing, particularly in our coastal regions where the cost of housing is skyrocketed and it's beyond reach of most working families. And that's where we need to find some solutions. Just sharing a conservation story, we were under mandatory rationing in Monterey Peninsula Water District in the 70s. My mom, who's since passed away, who was in her 60s or 70s at the time, they put plastic buckets in the shower, so every time you took a shower, you ended up with plastic buckets full of water, and then you could use those to flush the toilet. The rationing ended in the 70s. In the 1990s, my mom was still doing that in her 80s. And I said, Mom, you're frail. These are heavy. You don't have to keep doing it. And she was a child of the Depression. And she said, well, I just can't see wasting it. So even into her 80s, she said, now I only let the buckets get half full so I can lift them. So we can learn from my mom.